Rain fell in thin, stinging sheets over the city streets, turning the neon reflections into puddles of liquid light. The hum of hover cars passed overhead, their engines muffled by the drizzle. On a corner near the busiest spaceport terminal, a man crouched beneath a tattered blanket. His boots were worn, his coat threadbare, and his face carried the weary lines of someone who had survived more than he had ever wanted to remember. He was a veteran, though to the passing crowd, he was just another face among the forgotten. A group of young commuters, laughing and swiping at their wrist displays, passed by. One nudged the other and smirked. "Hey, old man, you gonna sing for a meal or something?" The veteran looked up at them, his eyes steady but tired. "I can play for food," he said softly, almost to himself. Laughter erupted from the group. "Play? For food? What do you even have? A harmonica?" Another said, leaning closer with a sneer. He shook his head slowly. "No," he replied. "A piano." The group laughed harder. "A piano? On the street? You kidding?" He didn't respond. He simply rose to his feet, dragging a small, beaten transport crate behind him. From it, he pulled a compact, foldable piano. The commuters exchanged glances, amusement turning to curiosity. "Go ahead, old man," one said, still chuckling. "Play something. Make it worth the laughs." He settled onto the crate, his fingers hovering above the keys. The first note was soft, almost tentative, but it carried a resonance that seemed to pull the rain into a slower rhythm. Then another note followed, and another, weaving a melody that was rich, complex, and full of emotion. The passerby who had mocked him froze mid-step, their laughter cut short. Soon, the melody grew into something breathtaking. The notes danced and soared, echoing off the metal walls of nearby buildings. People stopped. Commuters, workers, travelers all paused, mesmerized. Even the drones hovering nearby seemed to linger as if listening. The veteran's music told stories without words, of war, loss, courage, and hope. The young group, who had mocked him moments ago, stood in stunned silence. Their expressions shifted from amusement to awe, their phones forgotten. One of them whispered, Is he playing that by memory?" He did not look up. His eyes were closed, his fingers moving with precision and grace that betrayed years of discipline. The music seemed to fill not only the air, but the hearts of those who heard it. Even the city, usually deafened by its own machinery, felt quieter somehow. Minutes passed, though it felt like hours. When the final chord rang out, a hush settled over the street. Then, slowly, people began to clap. First a few, then dozens, then nearly everyone who had been caught in the rain. The veteran opened his eyes and nodded slightly, acknowledging their appreciation. His hands, poised above the keys, trembled slightly not from fear, but from the release of emotion. One of the young men stepped forward, holding a pack of synthetic food bars. "Here," he said, almost shyly. "You earned this. I didn't think. You doubted me," the veteran said simply, accepting the food. "That's all right. I understand." The group watched him eat, and hesitated. Curiosity overcame their embarrassment. You were a piano master?" one asked, his voice almost reverent. "I was trained," he replied. "Before the war, before everything. Music was my life. And even now, it's still my life." The story of the veteran spread quickly. News drones picked up the video, and soon, millions across the city and nearby colonies were watching the man who had turned mockery into awe. The city council, hearing of his skill, offered him a place in the new cultural center they were building, a venue where humans and aliens alike came to experience the arts. He accepted, not out of pride, but because he wanted to share the beauty he had carried with him through the darkest times. The transition was not easy. After years on the streets, he had to adapt to technology-driven instruments, holographic soundscapes, and performance schedules that seemed relentless. Yet he did not falter. Every note he played reminded everyone that the human spirit could endure and create beauty, even under impossible circumstances. At the cultural center's grand opening, the same crowd that had mocked him once found themselves at the front of the audience, now filled with hundreds of humans and off-world visitors. As he began to play, his music resonated not just through the hall, but through hearts, evoking memories, dreams, and a sense of belonging. Even the city lights outside seemed to pulse with the rhythm of his performance. Over time, the veteran became more than just a pianist. He became a symbol. In colonies where humans were often second to alien technology and expertise, he reminded everyone that no machine, no AI, and no genetic modification could replicate the depth of human emotion and creativity. His fingers on the keys were a testament to resilience, ingenuity, and the power of passion. One evening, after a particularly moving performance, a young boy approached him backstage. "I saw you on the street once," he said. "I didn't believe someone could do that. I thought you were just hungry." The veteran smiled softly, handing the boy a small notebook of sheet music. "Never underestimate someone because of how they appear," he said. "Everyone has a story, and sometimes that story is stronger than anything you can imagine." As years passed, the veteran taught music to children and adults, humans and aliens alike. He improvised pieces for diplomatic events, charity galas, and scientific conferences, each performance reminding the audience that creativity and humanity could thrive even in the most advanced and competitive societies. People began to talk about the moment he played for food as the day. Humanity reclaimed something essential. Even in a galaxy where technology dominated, his music proved that human ingenuity, spirit, and emotion could inspire more profoundly than any algorithm. The veteran never sought fame. He never sought fortune. He sought to remind others of the simple truth that every person, no matter how overlooked, has the capacity to create beauty that transcends circumstance. One rainy afternoon, he returned to the very street corner where it all began. The hover car zoomed overhead, the neon lights reflected in puddles, and a new group of commuters passed by. He unpacked his foldable piano, set it up, and played. This time, the music was lighter, playful, yet still deeply human. People stopped, listened, and smiled. And for a few moments, the city, the rain, and the passers-by became part of the shared experience, bound together by the power of a single human heart expressing itself through music. The veteran knew that tomorrow, someone else would mock him. Perhaps someone else would doubt the skill hidden behind the weathered face. And perhaps he would once again turn their mockery into wonder, because that was the gift he carried, not just the ability to play the piano, but the ability to remind everyone that even in the harshest streets of a futuristic world, humanity could shine through creativity, courage, and a single, extraordinary performance. And so he played. For food, for joy, for hope. And every note told a story. Every chord proclaimed the resilience of the human spirit, and every melody whispered the simple truth. Humanity could never be measured by circumstance alone.